Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne Lively. Thank you for joining me. In this video, I'm going to share with you all the curriculum that I bought for this school year that I haven't even started yet. If you saw my curriculum choices video at the beginning of the school year, you will know that I had quite an ambitious pile of resources to get through this year. I did have some set curriculum that was not really add-ons or supplemental resources that I did plan on getting through this year, and it turns out I have a stack that hasn't happened, and I'm going to talk through what I plan on doing with this stack of curriculum. Now, for those of you who don't know, our school year begins in the middle of September and we go to the end of June. For those of you new to the channel, I have an 8-year-old daughter. We're a family of 3, and we've been homeschooling our daughter since she started school. She's now 8, so she's in the 3rd grade. And our school year goes from the middle of September to the end of June. Sometimes it goes into July. So we have approximately 3.5 school months left of this year. Okay, I'm going to jump right in and show you the curriculum that we haven't even started yet this year. And I'm going to tell you which ones, did I already say that? I'm going to tell you which ones we will be picking up before the end of the school year and those that we will not. All right, the first piece of curriculum is a song school Spanish. And we haven't even looked at this, and we're not going to. I'm just going to put that right out there. Yeah, I don't have the brain width for this this year, and hopefully we can get to it next year. I don't know if this has an age limit or if she'll be too old next year, but I don't know. Can you be too old? I guess by the choices of the songs and everything that they're using, but if you can't speak the language at all, it still might be fun. So now, if you've used Song School Spanish and have an opinion on an age limit for this, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be very grateful. And then we have Handwriting Without Tears, cursive handwriting. We haven't started cursive, and I haven't been very diligent up to this point with my daughter's handwriting, and I want her to practice more with printing. And again, I just feel for the rest of the school year that there's other things I want to focus on with her more. So she can continue to practice her printing, and we will start cursive next year. This is a science book I picked up for this year. This is a DK book. Who doesn't love DK? And this is how to be good at science, technology, and engineering. And I still love this. We just haven't picked it up. And I did notice that I don't know why I didn't see this when I purchased this, but there is a workbook for this as well. And I don't know, maybe next year I'll look into getting the workbook for this. I do know that we're not going to finish it this year though, because I've chosen to do more interest-led studies. So I had a big discussion with my daughter at Christmas time and asked her what subject she wanted to study for the last part of the year. And she made those choices. So she wanted to do a penguin study, which we've done. And I talk more about that in our February update. So if you've seen that, I don't want to go on about it, but it was absolutely delightful. We loved it. And I'm so glad I asked her about doing interest-led and what she wanted to study. And the other one she wanted to study is the human body. So that's how we're going to end our year, with a big human body study. So there's no way I'll get to this. Also for science, we had purchased a subscription for the year for Generation Genius. And I want to mention it because we absolutely loved it, and we haven't done very much of it, which I'm sad to say because it was a subscription for a year. But that's something that I would like to get in at least a couple more lessons before the end of the school year. But I'll let you know about that during updates. But we have started it, and my intention is to do at least a few more before the end of the school year. Okay, I'm moving into Brave Writer curriculum. And if you saw, like I said, the beginning curriculum choices for the year, I had quite a bit of our language arts from the Brave Writer, and we have done very little. The first one I wanted to start this year was Jot It Down. And this is like a language arts project that you do 1 project a year. So there's like 10 for your school term. And she was already on the cusp of being a little too old for this, but I thought it could still be fun for us, and since I had it. But honestly, I haven't looked at it once, and I will not be looking at it by the end of the school year. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, if I can kind of make this work for next year, or it's just going to hit the bin. The other piece of the Brave Writer curriculum that I purchased was the wand. Now, the wand was created by Rita Cavasco, and she since formed her own company, which is now called Rooted in Language. But when I purchased it, she was still part of Brave Writer. And I thought, because we're still working on some reading and fluency and things this year, that it might be a good fit. I could still basically get my money's worth out of that. But honestly, I looked at it and it seems so involved to just kind of even figure out where to begin with it. And yeah, I was not a fan of all the reading I had to do to kind of get started with Vivian for that. And also because she isn't a beginning reader, so where would I start? With that just seemed way too much work. So I let it go, and we will never be doing that, unfortunately. Another thing, I purchased and wasted my money, which is unfortunate. Doesn't mean the program isn't good. It just means I didn't get it together enough to do that. Now, one of the things we did do from the Brave Writer this year, we did finally do one of the darts. And we did it for our penguin study. And I included language arts in our penguin study. And we read Mr. Popper's Penguins. Now, here's my feeling about that experience at this point. One, my daughter absolutely loved the book, of course. I enjoyed it too. Who wouldn't? Mr. Popper's Penguin. It was fun to end that penguin study and that language arts bit of programming with, of course, Jim Carrey's movie, Popper's Penguins. It was a lot of fun. My daughter's reaction to the curriculum, however, was a bit iffy. She loved the book, couldn't wait to pick it up. When she realized that a lot of the reading was being paired with these exercises we had to do, she no longer wanted to pick up Popper's Penguins. She always said, no, let's do something else. So, of course, I finished it out with her, and that's the first time I did something like that with her. So I would try it again for sure. And my intention with that is to do 2 more next fall and see what my opinion is after that and our experiences after that. How I felt as an educator is I had mixed feelings, to be honest. I absolutely loved the spiral approach that the programming has, that you teach a little bit to your child and then you come back around, that sort of thing. And that eventually over time, they've learned what they need to know. And it's a fun way to learn grammar and sentence structure and all those things. I don't know if I feel confident that's going to happen over time. I think in terms of just reading a book, that you get a lot of that in and of itself. So if she's an avid reader, we tend to learn and hear what sounds right after reading so many sentences that are written properly. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I would think I would feel more comfortable if she also had another grammar with that. We'll see. As you can tell, I'm very hesitant. I'd love to hear your opinion of that. The thing is, I want to love Brave Writer. I love, Poetry Tea Time has had a huge influence in our home, as I mentioned in one of our last videos that I did about my 3 favorite curriculum and my least favorite. I did mention poetry because it has had such a huge impact on our home and our homeschooling and my daughter. And that is before we even started homeschooling, I had learned about Poetry Tea Time and the Brave Writer lifestyle. So I want to love the whole program. Thus far, I'm not sure. And I think everything that I've heard other people talk about, it's really hard to get started with Brave Writer. But I know a family that absolutely, they love it. And it seems like those that are involved in Brave Writer love it. But I've heard just as many as me that find it really challenging to get started. So what I'm going to do with that is continue on our language arts path the way that it is. And she's doing some grammar and things now. So I will come back to Brave Writer next year, and I do have it. So I'm definitely going to do a couple more books for sure before I make my final decision on if we'll continue with Dart and then Arrow. And to continue on with the language arts, again, I did mention this in my last video where I talked about my favorite curriculum and my least favorite. And this is, I always struggle to say it, sequential spelling. Say that 5 times fast. Anyway, sequential spelling. Okay, there we go. Now, I did not want to continue using this. This is our least favorite. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future. I know for right now, this is not working for my daughter And I explained it all in that video, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But I did want to mention we stopped using this. Now, this is one that we had started, but we stopped and we will not be continuing it this year. Now, if you want to know what we are doing for our language arts, then make sure you're subscribed, because I'm doing a language arts video on what we're doing for the remainder of the year with a heavy emphasis on my daughter's reading and our reading journey. So that's coming up in the next couple weeks. The next two pieces of curriculum I could not find for this video, and I will insert a picture here of the first one. I'm laughing because it almost seems ridiculous. Well, it is ridiculous, but it does prove that I really need to get organized, and this is the first video of my Get It Together series. And this, yes, and this is a reason why I can't even find the two pieces of curriculum I need for this video. And one of them I will be using to finish out our school year, so I definitely need to get organized. Look for those videos, and if you're interested in seeing me organize, figuring out what I've bought for curriculum, in terms of like all the curriculum I bought on Etsy, and organizing what I already have, printing them, planning the next year, cleaning up. Yeah, if you're interested in all of that, make sure you're subscribed again, because I'm going to get it together publicly. Woohoo! All right, the first piece, Living Legend. Here's the picture. Now, this is a Latin American study, and it's a history about Latin America, Spanish-speaking countries. And like I said in my history video, I am doing this at the last part of the year. So we haven't started it, but I am definitely doing it for the last part of the school year. And I'm really excited and looking forward to that. Yeah, so if you want to see more of that, or see the multiple resources, I went in just yesterday actually and put in timestamps for that video. So that's our secular history video that I did. I'll link it up above. If you want to see all those resources, there's some gorgeous books there. If you want to see if there's any you want to add to your library, that's definitely the video to see. And check out the timestamps, makes it much easier. But like I said, really excited, looking forward to using that. And the last piece of curriculum that we haven't started yet, and that I can't find for this video, is Matthew C. Gamma. Now, I am going to do a separate video on math as well, but I will say this, we didn't even get to Gamma this year, which is technically, well, not technically, it is. It's Matthew C's grade 3 curriculum, and I will do a video about that, but I just want to say I'm really sad about that, because my daughter's very good in math, and it's all me as a teacher. The reason that we're behind in math, and that my daughter is behind in math, is fully on my shoulders, because I kept saying, yes, I'll plan for that tomorrow. And, you know, weeks would go by. So I feel sad about that for her, and it's something I'm going to work on. We are going to continue with Matthew C, but she won't be starting Gamma this year. And I'm looking at adding teaching textbooks to our curriculum as well. And part of the reason for that is because there's not as much prep work on my part. And, you know, maybe I made this a bigger deal than it is in terms of prep, but I always feel like I need a lot more prep than I want to give time to for math. And, you know, ironically, I'm very good at math myself, and I think that's part of the problem. Like, I think it's worked in the opposite way. A lot of people I hear share, they struggle with math, and as a teacher, that's a bit of a challenge. Now, I'm really good at math. So I think because of that, I actually haven't really enjoyed teaching math as much at this early stage. And, you know, I think there's a lot of work there to do. I'll talk way more about that in our math video and tell you exactly where we're at and what the plan is. So that'll be 2 upcoming videos in this series, will be math and our language arts. So kind of where we've been, where we're at, and where we're headed. And that's definitely part of Get It Together, Suzanne. All right, the last little piece I'm going to share with you, and I will do an update on everything we've done, because I don't want to leave the impression that, oh my gosh, there's so much we haven't finished in our homeschool. We have done so much for our homeschool this year. And really, we did a huge amount of unit studies that I'm very happy about. And I will be continuing that type of curriculum in the future for sure. But a piece we started and have done so little on that I figure I'm going to squeeze this in at the end. And it's Art with Trista, and I really wanted to do this with my daughter on Fridays, and I just found that we have hardly done any of it. So I'm making this a priority to continue on for the rest of the school year. I really look forward to the last bit of homeschooling. I feel much more focused than I ever have in terms of being a homeschool teacher. And I know with this series that I'm doing for you, it is as much for me as it is for you, because it's going to get me organized, and I'm going to share all of that with you, which hopefully that will help you as well. All right, that's everything I'm going to share with you. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below. If you like this video, please hit like. If you'd like to see more like it, make sure to hit subscribe, and I will see you with another video soon.